When you think of a Ponzi scheme, probably the first thing that comes to mind is Bernie Madoff. His company, Madoff Investment Securities, defrauded 37,000 investors out of $65 billion in what would become the highest profile Ponzi scheme in American history. Madoff did not run the only Ponzi scheme in American history, and you might be surprised to hear that his wasn't even the biggest. The single largest Ponzi scheme in US history actually happened a few years after Madoff was put behind bars. It was perpetrated by a North Carolina man named Paul Burks, who founded an online auction site called Ziegler.com. Burks created a highly sophisticated Ponzi scheme, which convinced his victims that they could make 1.5% returns every single day. If you know anything about investing, you know that this is absurd. 1.5% daily returns adds up to 23,000% per year when compounded. But with a combination of a highly effective marketing campaign and a pyramid-shaped referral program, Burks was able to convince over 1 million individuals to hand over $600 million in what would become the largest Ponzi scheme in US history by number of victims, 27 times larger than Bernie Madoff. One of the reasons Ziegler didn't get nearly as much media attention is that its victims were financially unsophisticated and poor, people who garner little interest from the national media. If Bernie Madoff was a Ponzi scheme equivalent of an elite Wall Street firm, Ziegler was the equivalent of the neighborhood pawn shop. While Ziegler stole less money in aggregate than Madoff, the victims had less money to lose. By the time the fraud was shut down in 2012, hundreds of thousands of people were left financially ruined. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into how Paul Burks created the largest Ponzi scheme in US history. Paul Burks founded Ziegler.com in 2010. Ziegler was a penny auction site, which was kind of sleazy but wasn't technically a fraud, at least not in the beginning. Here's a clip from CBS News talking about Ziegler in 2010.
Move over eBay. There's a new auction in town, and it only takes a penny to get in on the action.
Dorothy Tucker takes a look at penny auctions, which can be a bargain bonanza.
$400 golf club for about $6.50.
No coupons, no rebates. Holly McDowell won all this stuff.
I think it's a good way to get something less expensive than you would get at the store.
Stuart Cruz has won $800 worth of merchandise, spending only $300, which means he controls his bidding. Stuart does a little homework. Before he bids on an item, he checks to see how much it sold for the last time it was auctioned off.
So your $10 gift card might go for $1, so I might start entering at 80 cents or 75 cents.
As a first-time bidder, I got lucky.
I won! I won a coffee maker.
Sold to me for 52 cents. I also won 5 gift cards for a few pennies. Now let's take a closer look at my winnings. Remember, this is the $1999 coffee maker that I got. My winning bid, 52 cents.
You're easy to please, too, right?
I am.
I get excited as well. And you also got some gift cards.
The gift cards, yeah. This one, $25 gift card. My bid, a nickel. I got a $10 gift card. I think it cost me 17 cents. A little pricey there.
That is incentive to get on. Thank you very much, Dorothy.
Ziegler would sell products in an auction starting at 1 penny. You can put in bids to increase the price by 1 penny at a time, after which other bidders have 30 seconds to outbid you by another penny. If nobody outbids you within 30 seconds, you win the product. Typically, the products end up being sold at a massive discount to retail value, sometimes as much as 90%. These weren't surplus items, and Ziegler didn't have any special deals to acquire the merchandise at discounted prices. In fact, they were so blatant as to even sell cash at the auction. For example, this $100 bill sold for $58.77. So how is this possible? How was Ziegler able to sell products at such a massive discount? This is because in order to place a bid, you have to pay a 65-cent fee, regardless of whether or not you win the product. For example, let's say that Ziegler was selling an iPod with a retail price of $100. Eventually, someone wins it with a $10 bid. Because the price only moves up by 1-cent increments, $650 worth of bids had to be made before the winning bid, far greater than the retail price. Penny auctions are akin to gambling because if you place a bid, the chances of winning the product are very low. You can increase your chances by placing a lot of bids, but if you place too many bids, the cost of making the bids alone will be greater than the retail value of the item. So while a few people might get lucky and win a product for a cheap price, the vast majority of people waste money on bids and don't win anything. While penny auctions are morally questionable, they were perfectly legal at the time. After playing a few times, most people realized it's basically a scam. After wasting a few bucks, they would give up and never use the website again. Paul Burks founded Ziegler.com in 2010. By 2011, it was a complete flop with almost no users, so he decided he would turn his failed penny auction site into a Ponzi scheme. In 2011, Paul Burks launched Zeek Rewards, which was ostensibly an affiliate marketing program for the Ziegler penny auction website. By becoming an affiliate, you could earn a revenue share. 50% of revenue generated by Ziegler.com would be paid out to the affiliates pro rata based on how many profit points they earn. So it was effectively like owning shares in Ziegler. At first, it sounds like it maybe makes sense. The Ziegler.com penny auction would be an incredibly profitable business if they could get anyone to use it. If affiliates convince people to start bidding on Ziegler, this could be very valuable, and Ziegler could afford to pay them generous affiliate commissions. To become a Ziegler affiliate, you had to do 3 things. Firstly, you had to pay a monthly fee between $10 and $99, with the higher tier giving you the most profit points. Secondly, you had to buy a minimum of 1,000 so-called VIP bids at a cost of $1 each. These VIP bids allow you to place bids for items on the Ziegler auction site. The VIP bids would be given away to new consumers as an advertising promotion to get them to use the website. And finally, you're required to place 1 online ad for Ziegler on a classifieds website per day. At first, none of this sounds too weird. Giving away free VIP bids to new users is kind of like a food delivery app giving you $5 off your first meal. It's a pretty standard marketing technique. The requirement to post at least 1 online ad promoting Ziegler.com each day also seems reasonable. People would see the online ads and hopefully start spending money on Ziegler.com, bringing in revenue to the company. The Ziegler affiliates are basically independent salesmen trying to acquire new customers. But when you look a little bit closer, things get weird. Zeek Rewards had an online system called the Customer Co-op program, where they automatically find prospective customers for you. You just press a button on the website and the VIP bids you bought will automatically be given away to purported customers. It requires 0 effort. The requirement to place at least 1 online ad per day was even more weird. You just have to go to the Zeek's Reward website, copy a pre-written ad, click on a link to some website, and paste it into that website. They even advertise this as a 7-minute work week, taking 1 minute per day to copy and paste the ad. In fact, placing the ads was so easy that on GitHub, you can find Python codes to do the whole process for you autonomously. Just by doing a few simple actions per day, which you could frankly train a monkey to do, you could become a Zeek Rewards affiliate and start earning the revenue share. And Zeek affiliates were promised life-changing amounts of money. The more VIP bids you buy, the more profit points you receive. Supposedly, 50% of the revenue from Ziegler.com was distributed to the affiliates pro rata based on how many profit points you have. Thus, the more VIP bids you buy, the greater is your daily profit. The returns were incredible. The revenue share was approximately 1.5% of the money you put in every single day. Affiliates could choose to either receive their payouts as cash or as additional profit points. If you accept them as profit points, your number of profit points grows, which creates a compounding effect. This chart shows a hypothetical growth of a $100 investment into Zeek Rewards. If you take the payments as cash with no compounding, your $100 will turn into $650 after 1 year. However, if you elect to receive more profit points instead, your returns will compound, and after 1 year, your $100 investment will turn into $23,000. You can see why most affiliates elected to compound their profit points. Of course, if you know anything about investing, you'll know that these returns are impossible. But Zeek Rewards specifically targeted unsophisticated victims, and by making the process so complicated, it was difficult to tell exactly how it worked. This made it difficult to see that it was a fraud. People just saw that if they put in some money, they could receive huge returns. As you probably guessed, the entirety of Zeek Rewards was a scam. Not a single part of it was legitimate. The copy and paste ads were completely ineffective. They were placed on free classified websites, and almost nobody ever clicked them. The customer co-op program was completely fake. Affiliates thought the VIP bids they purchased were given to new customers as promotions. In reality, 99.75% of the VIP bids were never used because nobody wanted them. The fact of the matter was that nobody wanted to use the Ziegler penny auction platform, because it was obviously a bad deal for the customer. The core business of Ziegler generated almost 0 revenue. The Zeek Rewards affiliates were contributing nothing to the operations of the company. The only thing they were supplying was their own money. While the Zeek Rewards program was completely ineffectual at getting anyone to use Ziegler.com, it was highly effective at getting more people to sign up as affiliates. It was pitched as a business opportunity where you can make life-changing amounts of money with zero expertise and almost zero effort. In addition to being a Ponzi scheme, Zeek Rewards was also a pyramid scheme. Affiliates were rewarded if they could bring on new affiliates, creating a chain reaction of exponential growth. Zeek Rewards affiliates would convince their family and friends to join. They would also create glowing reviews on YouTube, Facebook, and other social media sites, asking others to join them. In 2012, after just 1 year of operation, Zeek Rewards had already sucked in over 1 million affiliates. The fact that most affiliates opted to compound their profit points helped the cash flow position of Zeekler. Until you withdraw your money, the profit points are just numbers on a screen. Even if the affiliates have billions of dollars worth of profits, until they try to withdraw the money, Zeekler can keep the scam afloat. By 2012, only 2% of Zeekler's revenue came from the core auction business. The remaining 98% came from people buying into the affiliate Zeek Rewards. Needless to say, the money for the award payouts was coming from money raised by new investors in a classic Ponzi-like manner. Founder Paul Burks personally withdrew $11 million from the business to his personal bank account, which he used to fund a lavish lifestyle. But these ill-gotten gains would not last long. By 2012, the scheme was on the brink of collapse. In total, they had raised over $600 million. $375 million had already been paid out to prior investors. Another $225 million was sitting in their bank account. At the time, affiliates had accumulated 3 billion profit points. If they elected to receive their payments in cash, this would translate to about $45 million per day. So Zeekler would have gone bankrupt within less than a week if investors asked for their cash. In August of 2012, the SEC found out about the scam and shut it down. But even if they hadn't shut it down, it was months away from crumbling on its own weight. Burks was eventually sentenced to 14 years in federal prison with a release date scheduled for 2028. By that time, he'll be 79 years old, so he will likely die behind bars. What remained of the cash was distributed to the victims, but much of the funds had already been paid out to people who got in on the ground floor, or had been spent by Burke himself. Most victims only received pennies on the dollar of what was in many cases their life savings. The reason why the Zeek's Ponzi scheme was so successful was multifold. Firstly, there appeared to be a legitimate business, the penny auction platform. This made it more credible. Secondly, the victims were required to copy and paste Zeekler ads onto various websites. As ridiculous as this exercise looks in hindsight, it made the whole system slightly more believable. The affiliates thought that they were engaging in legitimate advertising activities that would generate revenue for the company. This gave the false impression that Zeekler's core auction business was profitable and capable of generating revenue to fund the affiliate payouts. Thirdly, they targeted unsophisticated victims. This is portrayed even by their cartoonish logo, which was obviously meant to target ordinary people, not sophisticated investors. People without proper financial education would hear about this great money-making opportunity from their friends, or see glowing testimonials on social media. And finally, it's important to remember that this fraud happened in 2011 and 2012, when the US was still experiencing the Great Recession following the global financial crisis. With unemployment high and wages low, many families were desperate to improve their financial situation. This state of desperation made them more susceptible to get-rich-quick schemes. We've seen similar situations throughout history. The largest Ponzi scheme ever was formed in Russia during the 1990s, immediately after the collapse of the Soviet Union. We've made a video about this previously, link in the description below. At the time, the company was gripped by a severe economic crisis, and people were willing to part with what little money they had in a desperate attempt to improve their situation. Ponzi schemes come in many shapes and sizes and can victimize people from all walks of life, but there are a few ways you can protect yourself. If someone comes to you with a business opportunity, ask them, how do you make money and what do you want from me besides my money? If they can't give you a simple and satisfactory answer, chances are it's a scam. The entire Zeekler fraud could have been avoided if the affiliates just asked a simple question. Why are you paying me to copy and paste a paragraph which takes 1 minute per day? Why can't you just do it yourself? Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. What do you think about Zeekler? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Wall Street Millennial, signing out.